Hi, this is Kirk Fletcher, and we're at Fender, and we're checking out the Fender Tone Master Deluxe Reverb. I really need an amplifier to have like a lot of headroom because if it's too distorted for me, then I'm not in my comfortable zone. So I need like a lot of headroom and then I can pick softer. So the amp is kind of doing more of the work and I'm picking, softer then I can use more like dynamics and things like that. So that's the first thing. And I always kind of look for that big Fender classic, big clean sound. For me, Fender is what I started with, and I've played for most of my career. It's mainly, always been my trusty Super Reverb, Fender Super Reverb. So that's sort of my, ground zero bass tone, just a big, fat, warm, clean tone. So I'm always, whatever amp I'm playing, I'm always looking for that in that amp, whatever it is, I'm looking for that tone. About maybe 5 or 6 years ago, I was able to get a Deluxe Reverb from a friend of mine, and I've played that just as much as the Super in recent years because, live with stage volume and keeping things down and kind of cranking out more, the Deluxe Reverb is a little bit more ideal at times in certain venues, so I love it. A lot of times the drawbacks are mushy low end, and then I'm out of my comfort zone. So I really look for something that has like tight low end and that stays clean at a kind of a higher volume because I like to be able to turn my volume down on the guitar and have the amp react to however I set it. So that's basically the main thing. How's the power? How is the low end, is it tight enough so I can, do what I need to do to get the job done? I'm pretty much a classic Fender amp style player. And I just, on some of the songs I've written in the past, it's been like I needed just a little bit more grit, or to turn up the amp to just get a little bit more out of it. But it's pretty much Kirk Fletcher, ground zero is, the big clean sound. To me, the Deluxe Reverb just sounds like a really fantastic sounding Deluxe Reverb. If you hadn't have said that it wasn't a tube amp, I would have thought definitely that it was just a great sounding tube amp, running how it should run. I mean, it feels exactly the same to me. It just sounds fantastic. Well, I'm really excited about the possibilities of the Tone Master amp. One is the attenuation. So, like you don't have to deal with sound men telling you to turn down. You can just get the same tone at any click, shall we say. And then the other thing is it has the direct out, and I think it's modeled after a SM57, which is one of my favorite microphones of all time. And it just sounds really big and warm, and I just can't wait to try it some more. Usually on a Fender Deluxe Reverb, I usually set the volume around between 3 and 5, I would say. Treble on like 5 or something like that, and the bass probably on about 4. And then I'll just, check out and see what the amp is telling me, and go from there. If it's too trebly, I'll cut the treble down some and just use my ears really to kind of dial in the tone, that works for me. I view this amp as the sound. I'm strictly driven towards the sound of the amp, and the amp sounds fantastic. It reacts the same way as the tube amp does. And the reverb is fantastic. So I'm a happy camper. It sounds great. The fact that the amp weighs 23 pounds is amazing. I mean, I can just think about my brothers and sisters in New York, on the subway or whatever, carrying the amp now. They can bring their tone to any gig and it's light. I mean, that's just a fantastic thing. The one thing I think is for the more sort of vintage guy like myself, to have an amp that looks, feels like, their classic Fender Deluxe, but yet, like you said, the 23 pounds, the direct out, is sort of like moving that beautiful design that Leo Fender came up with in the past, moving it into the future. And all the things that we have to face when we're playing music now, live and recording and everything. It's just changing. It's bringing that, changing with the times. And that's, I think, a very important thing. It's sort of like me. It's sort of like, a blues man in 2019.